Hey, Eric.
Hey, John.
How you doing tonight?
I'm good. I'm fantastic.
Fantastic. That
Yeah,
is spectacular.
yeah. It's been a great weekend. I had a very productive weekend, I
I was
will
going to
say.
say, sounds like you had a productive 3-day weekend.
Yes. Did got a lot of one-off tasks kind of ticked off the list. This, uh, in addition to having my a large chunk of my wife's family in town. My
Oh,
my in-laws, her brother and sister-in-law, and her sister were all at our house, uh, hanging out for the long weekend.
so you had a full house.
I did have a full house, and the reasoning is I think I mentioned before my niece's husband uh, plays baseball for the Eugene Emeralds, which is a single A club for the San Francisco Giants. And Eugene, as you may know, is not
It's
that far down
just
the
just a
road.
couple hours away.
Not
Yep.
that far down the road. So they were all in town to go watch some baseball games, and so that was the reason everybody was in town. And but yeah,
Fun.
I did a lot of cleaning. I fixed a bunch of things around the house that I've just been kind of bothering me to fix. I cleaned out the garage. I cleaned out a vehicle and sold a vehicle. So, got a big chunk out of the way before my boy goes to college.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was one of those weekends where you pat yourself on the back and said, yeah, I did good. I did good this weekend.
Well, I appreciate you selling me your vehicle. I, yeah.
Well,
So,
I hope it works out. I hope it
yeah.
works out.
Eh, it's all good.
So,
It's all good. I drove it down to DM. I drove it for the first real drive for me, at least yesterday,
mhm.
down to the DMV because I wasn't sure if I would need it for any reason or not. So,
Oh, right.
um,
Yeah, yeah.
and yeah, I'm good.
You got
It'll,
there and
it,
back, clearly.
yeah, yeah. It was great. It was great. Yeah. So,
It has survived 3 teenagers
well,
in my
it
house.
needs to survive one more is the
So,
goal. So,
I,
um,
yeah.
although frighteningly, he's only going to be a teenager for another month.
Mm,
Because he's going to turn 20. Ah.
wow.
Anyway, yeah, it is what it is.
Okay.
But
Old man.
hey, takes one to know one, or something like that.
I resemble that comment.
Yeah, that's all good. It's all good. That's all good. Well, that's cool. I can concur that sometimes the best weekends are the ones where you look back and you're like, wow, how did I get all that much done in
Yeah.
3 days?
Yeah.
And then that hasn't really been me the last number of months. I feel like I've been doing a lot of hey, it's Saturday. I'm really gonna sit here and read for a while. although I did a bunch of stuff has happened this week or this weekend for sure. Starting with one big thing, I finally got off my tush and called somebody to come install fiber from my barn to my house. So I no longer have the malfunctioning point-to-point
Right.
Wi-Fi
Okay.
that has been driving me a little crazy for the last couple months, which it was clearly failing or something. And I was like, is it I mean, this has been over months, but I've gone up. Is the Ethernet cable loose? Was it? I even cut off because I thought the plug was felt a little loose. So I even cut off the Ethernet and re-put a new jack on the side. Anyway, but I'd done a bunch of things but now I have the power of light,
Nice.
and I got to watch the guy fuse the
Glass
fiber.
together. Yeah.
Yeah. So on a number of connections. So because I don't know, that was one of the things that I felt a little intimidated by, I guess. you know? I
Mm-hmm.
was like, how's, I mean, having it done, I'm now like, okay, I get it. I don't, you know, I probably could have and should have figured out how to do that myself, but whatever, you
No,
know,
no.
it's good. I was able to write a check, or as is the case these days, send a PayPal,
Yeah.
send
Yeah.
some money with PayPal, and my ping to my barn where it was previously, I was having like between 10 and 20% packet loss, and 10 to 100 millisecond pings.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think it had like 60 anyway. um I have like zero packet loss, and at least on my wired desktop here, like zero point 0.3 millisecond latency just to
Mm.
my edge.
Okay.
But I will take it. After that, it has to crawl onto Musk's satellites,
Right.
which makes me oh so very happy. But I gotta say, I have never been happier with my network.
Good.
So that's awesome. So that was Friday. So that was very cool. I basically took most of Friday afternoon off to go hover over the the cable installers back. Which, dude, how does that work? Like,
Mm-hmm.
anyway, no, I try to be good. He was chatty and it was all good, but I very much am. My wife's like, you should really like let them do their work, and I'm like, but I want to know how all this. I want to know how all this stuff works. Anyway,
Yeah.
you can in fact buy one of those cable splicers, or I don't know, I forget what they called it, but for like $900 on Amazon.
I was gonna say, I'm sure Amazon has one.
Yeah, I looked.
They got everything.
I looked, but it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool.
Nice.
So and then on Sunday, I thought about doing this for something fun, but we went to the state fair. So the Oregon State Fair has been the last few weeks.
Okay.
And it feels like it's been a couple of years since we were down there. I was trying to remember if we'd been down there since COVID, and I think so.
I
But I
do want to
didn't.
say I've heard you. I remember you talking about it on the podcast, but now that is a range of 6+ years. So
Yeah.
I don't
So
know.
I know I could look at my photo library and see if I took photos down there. When was the last time I took photos at the Oregon State Fairgrounds? But State Fair is always a good old country fun. Walking through the cow barns and the goat barns and the horse barns, and
Oh, I do remember.
looking at all the 4-H stuff, and
And
yeah,
I do know you have pictures, and it was recent because you watched a guy carve with a chainsaw. I'm pretty sure
they
that was at the state fair.
it was at the state fair, but they did not have them there this year. I looked.
Oh,
I tried. I
okay.
tried to. I was like, "Where are you?" So, if they were there, I didn't see them, and we pretty much went all over the fair. So,
Hmm.
well,
Okay.
that's not quite true. We didn't. We never go up to where the rides and the games and stuff are. That's not our thing.
Ah,
But anyway, so that was a great Sunday.
cool.
So that was fun. Had a little fair food.
Fried something on a stick.
Can't go wrong with fair food. I don't think I had anything fried. I was all in for the noodles.
Is it really a state fair if it's not fried on a stick?
I know, but I don't know what to tell you. And then for dessert, there's the Oregon Dairy Women or something like that have a delicious ice cream. So I did the ice cream instead of the fried stuff. So it's not like I didn't indulge. Don't worry. You have no fear of that.
Yeah. You're still John. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And so two other fun things there. One of which was that the Oregon State beekeepers were there, and they had an observation hive that I at least saw that they had an observation hive because it was totally swarmed with people. Trying to get a look and clearly trying to find the queen. So that was fun. I was happy for them. So I didn't really talk to anybody there though, because there were so many people, but that was cool. But then the other cool thing that was there was, I don't know what the name of it was, but it's basically wood turners in the crafts area. They had a section of, wood turners that they had like 4 or 5 lathes, and they had some people turning some bowls and other things. And so I wound up chatting with one of the guys there, who was kind of, I don't know, it was kind of funny. So 2 things. The first of which, he was like, "Have you ever turned?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, but mostly pens, and I little intimidated for some other stuff, and I've tried for some other stuff, blah blah blah." And he's like, "Well, you should join our club. It's only $35." He seemed like really hit on the fact that it was like $35, or it was only $35 for a year for membership. And so I said something like, "Don't worry. I mean, it's not a matter of money; it's a matter of time." And he literally looked at me. He's like, "Oh, you must not be retired yet." I was like, "Thanks." Why don't you rub it in? Why don't you? So yeah. Anyway, I was like, "What does that mean? Do I look like I'm old? Old, like that old? I don't think I do." Anyway, but then the second funny thing was, I went to their website and I looked, and on September 12th, they have supposedly a presentation about sharpening, which is one of the things that kind of intimidates me still. So I might actually go pay $35 just so I can watch the lesson on sharpening tools, even though it's an hour drive away. But anyway, so I thought that was pretty funny.
Okay.
I'm serious. I think I'm going to do that. It's like next Thursday or something like that. Whatever day the 12th is. So
I think that's Thursday.
Yeah. Anyway, I had fun. It was good. It was good.
Nice.
I don't think I'm trying to think what I did on Monday. I think I puttered. I think I puttered on Monday. Clearly wasn't as productive as you, but I got a few things.
You acquired a vehicle on Monday.
Oh, that was Monday that you brought the car over. Okay.
Yeah.
That didn't really take much time though.
No.
So no, that's all good. All right. Well, all right. So how about a topic? I didn't throw anything in follow up.
I didn't either. So this one I thought was, I actually had a couple that I saw this week, but I'll talk about this one. So airport security. I have been traveling a little bit, and I will be on an airplane again tomorrow. And so this one caught my eye. Apparently, some researchers had found a SQL injection to bypass airport TSA security checks. That's the teaser.
Okay.
On it. So what this is a couple researchers, Ian Carroll and Sam Curry, discovered a vulnerability in FlyCass, CASS. It's a third-party web-based service that some airlines use to manage the known crew member program and the cockpit access security system. So the known crew member program is a TSA initiative that allows pilots and flight attendants to skip security screening, right? Ooh. If you've been to the airport, you see the TSA pre-check, the clear, the regular person line, and then there's the crew line, the airline crew. Apparently, this is a program that you can use to bypass that. And apparently, the researchers were playing with this online database because, of course, this web service, third-party web service, is online, and they were able.
Security is hard.
To basically invent a fictitious employee. TestOnly. It should have been.
Oh, he's my best friend. TestOnly.
Yes.
Testy McTesty face.
Yes. And then they granted this account access to both known crew member access and cockpit access. So the two things, which effectively allowed them to skip any security screenings and then access the cockpits of commercial airliners. So
don't you have to have some sort of ID? You must have to have some sort of ID or something that you present to TSA at the airport itself.
Yes, and that's, the TSA comes back and says that. So anyways, what they've shown there is, hey, if I were a little bit more sophisticated, I could create myself a fake persona, get some fake credentials. Because I don't know if you've seen it. They don't like beep a badge or anything. They just kind of show their badge. They beep the whatever access thing, and they show their badge, and they go through. I'm going to pay closer tomorrow when I'm going to the airplane. I'm going to pay closer attention. Hopefully, some crew is trying to go through and see what they're actually doing there. Anyways, so that would allow them to do that, and so the researchers immediately disclosed to DHS, Department of Homeland Security, in April of 2024. It says the researchers, and I'm just going to read this sentence because it's mind-blowing. The researchers decided not to contact the FlyCAS website directly, as it appeared to be run by a single person, and they were afraid the disclosure would alarm them.
What?
I know.
What?
So this web service that airlines use apparently is just run by some person. I'm sure they're very well-meaning and making a living and whatever, but just
hence their probably secure database design is high on the list of skills for. Hey, I bet I could do that.
Yeah, who knows?
Interesting.
So DHS responded, acknowledging the vulnerability, and confirmed that FlyCAS, so the system, was disconnected from the known crew member CAS, the cockpit access security system, on May 7th of 2024 as a precautionary measure. And then the vulnerability was fixed on the FlyCAS website. However, further efforts to coordinate a safe disclosure of the vulnerability. So the researchers said, hey, we want to be able to tell people about this.
Want to be able to get their credit and kudos.
And of course, they were met with resistance after DHS stopped responding to their emails. The TSA press office also sent the researchers a statement denying the vulnerability's impact and claiming the system's vetting process would prevent unauthorized access. After being informed by the researchers, the TSA also quietly removed information from its website that contradicted its statements. So, there you go. Anyway, the TSA said, yes, in April we became aware of this vulnerability in a third party's database containing this information. No government data or systems were compromised. No transportation or security impacts, said R. Carter Langston, the TSA press secretary. So, and then he went on also to say that the TSA does not solely rely on this database to verify the identity of crew members. TSA has procedures in place to verify the identity of crew members, and only verified crew members are permitted access to the secure areas in the airports. TSA worked with the stakeholders to mitigate against any identified vulnerabilities. So there you go. There is a system that airlines depend on that wired into the TSA's back-end system to provide known crew member cockpit access security system stuffs. So, anyways, that's what I found today.
Interesting.
Makes me excited about.
Well, I will be curious for your homework assignment of trying to watch carefully how the crew make it through the crew line and not having the observant TSA person come up to you and go like, "What are you doing?"
You'll be my one phone call.
Eric Wheeler? I've never heard of him.
Heard of that guy?
sounds like a sketchy name. I don't know.
How do you spell it? No, that can't be real.
That doesn't sound right. Sorry. Funny. All right. Well, have a safe trip tomorrow, and don't taunt the TSA.
No.
Okay, so. I feel like I've been doing this for the last couple of episodes where I'll do like a 1.5 topics. So here's my half topic. Data aggregators.
Uh-huh.
This is a symptom of data aggregation, is what I'm going to say. So, there's a Krebs link from this week about sextortion emails.
Right.
Basically, hey, I recorded video off of your webcam, and I'm going to release it to your friends.
Right.
So it says this week, several readers reported receiving sextortion emails that addressed them by name and included images of their street or front yard that were apparently lifted from an online mapping application like Google Maps.
Of course.
So, email, name, address is all you need to be able to do this.
And you can automate spams.
Scam. Yep. So, I don't know that this is the first ever instance of it, but Krebs said that multiple people had submitted those to him this week. So it's a half topic, but just one of the nice things in Krebs' article is he says the FBI is very interested in if people are a victim of sextortion. So the FBI's guidelines are, first and foremost, never send compromising images of yourself to anyone, no matter who they are or who they say they are. And particularly, my gracious, never is a good word there.
Mm-hmm.
Don't open attachments from people you don't know, and be wary of opening attachments even from those you do. So that's unfortunately a fact of life these days.
Right.
And then turn off or cover any web cameras if you're not using them. But then the other thing is that I didn't know, makes sense. The FBI has a 1-800 number you can call if it says if you're a victim of sextortion or know somebody else who is, the FBI wants to hear from you. Contact your local FBI office at 1-800-CALL-FBI.
Okay.
There you go. So, cursed data aggregators, but yeah, your data is out there.
Yeah.
So my actual topic is a vulnerability in Microsoft's macOS apps.
What?
So it says 8 vulnerabilities have been uncovered in Microsoft applications for macOS that an adversary can exploit to gain elevated privileges, access sensitive data by circumventing the operating system's permissions-based model. So basically, if you can inject an untrusted dynamic library into one of the Microsoft apps or get them to load a untrusted library, you get to act with the permissions that have been granted to the Microsoft apps, which are generally high and are not as minimal as one would hope. So it says, TCC, which is what's it called? I must not have pulled it out. It's like, what's it called? Transparency, Consent, and Control Framework. It's basically the permissions model. It says TCC works in conjunction with the application sandboxing feature in macOS and iOS. Sandboxing restricts an app's access to the file system and other applications, adding an extra layer of security. TCC ensures that apps can only access data for which they have received explicit user consent. However, should an attacker manage to inject a library into the process space of a running application, that library can use all the permissions already granted to the process, effectively operating on behalf of the application itself.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think for example, the attacker could send emails from the user account without the user noticing, record audio clips, take pictures, record videos without any user interaction. So, the Microsoft's response to this is that it says Microsoft considers these issues as low risk and says that the apps are required to load unsigned libraries to support plugins. I don't necessarily buy that sentence.
That seems like a
little bit of a non sequitur.
Choice, not a requirement.
Yeah. It says, however, the company has stepped in to remediate the problem in its OneNote and Teams apps. That's interesting. Mm-hmm. So, the problem is this is kind of to a certain extent, a cooperative security model, right?
Yeah.
So if the app behaves badly in its sandbox, it's not necessarily the sandbox's responsibility when it allows somebody else to abuse its permissions. So, interesting though that it fixed the OneNote and Teams apps. I'm betting, especially for Teams, that the plugin ecosystem is very small, and at least in the Teams case, maybe more modern. And has I actually I'm wildly speculating, so we'll see. So I mean, the problem is what does it say? So the second to the last thing I kind of pulled out here, it says the vulnerable apps leave the door open for adversaries to exploit all the app's entitlements and without user prompts reuse all the permissions already granted to an app, effectively serving as a permission broker for the attacker. And then the last thing I pulled out is that, and again, I don't necessarily agree with this, but it says it's important to mention it's unclear how to securely handle such plugins within macOS's current framework. I don't know why that is the case. It says notarization of third-party plugins is an option. Yes, that's called signing, only loading signed plugins, right? Albeit a complex one. Yes, anytime you're working with public key cryptography or cryptography in general, it's not simple. And it would require Microsoft or Apple to sign third-party modules after verifying their security.
Huh.
You could choose whether, you have a...
it's effectively what Apple's notarization service does.
Yeah, it is.
On some level.
Absolutely. So you either... It's kind of like know your customer, right? for banks. It's kind of important that, you identify someone before you allow them to, play in your sandbox.
Enter the cockpit of your airplane or get access to...
Or maybe go into the secure area of an airport. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, there you go.
All right.
All right. How about something fun tonight?
Okay. So my something fun. The reason I'm traveling tomorrow is I don't know if I mentioned this before. We are going down to the Bay Area, Monterey actually, for my grandmother's 100th birthday. So we're going to go down and celebrate Grandma's 100th birthday with all my family, my brothers and sisters, and we're going to go hang out. And one of the things that we did as kids that was fantastic is the Monterey Bay Aquarium. Now, you may have seen aquariums other places. They don't hold a candle to the Monterey Bay Aquarium. It is really cool. It's right on the bay. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Free Willy.
Eons ago.
Yes. Parts of Free Willy were filmed at the Monterey Bay Aquarium, even though I think they said it was in San Francisco or I think they had a picture of the Golden Gate Bridge in the background. It's like, nah, those are 3 hours apart, but okay. The movie magic, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, so that's my something fun is as we're going down there tomorrow and we'll have a family dinner on Friday night and then birthday party on Saturday, and then we'll come home Sunday. And at some point when we have some free time, we're going to sneak into the Monterey Bay Aquarium and I'm going to relive a little bit of my childhood.
Now, we had a company event there.
Yes, which was super cool.
that was the only time I've been there, to the best of my knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like, when was that, Eric? 15 years ago? 10 years ago?
Something like that. Yeah.
A long time ago.
Quite a while ago.
A very long time ago. But yeah, I remember it being amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. And I'm sure I didn't see the whole thing because I think we were kind of relegated to
A section. Yeah.
a part of it.
So,
But, well, very cool.
anyways, I'm excited. And so that's my something fun. Aquariums in general are cool. The Monterey Bay Aquarium is super cool. And of course, like everything, they have everything online. You can see their jellyfish. You can see pretty much all their exhibits in pictures on their website. But
All right. MontereyBayAquarium.org.
yep.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Very cool.
All right.
All right. So, like I said, I almost did State Fair for something fun, but I wasn't sure what I would talk about in the intro because that was the funnest thing I did this weekend. But so instead, I looked for a science article that I had read, and this is a study of a meteor impact to Ganymede. So, Ganymede, moon of Jupiter.
One of
it
many.
says one of the most intriguing worlds in the entire solar system. It's one of the only known moons with its own magnetic field.
Okay.
It's believed to have a salty ocean 60 miles deep, lying beneath a 95-mile thick crust. So it's a prime candidate for potential life elsewhere. This is a fact I did not know. At 3,300 miles in diameter, Ganymede is the largest moon in the solar system. Bigger than the planet Mercury.
Okay.
I did not know it was bigger than the planet Mercury. Mercury is 3,030 miles wide as opposed to the Ganymede's 3,300. So it's got it by 270 miles, evidently.
Okay.
So in the 80s, and I guess I didn't know this, but it says astronomers discovered a radiating system of ripple-like furrows exceeding 1,000 miles in diameter at the center of the moon's far side. Ganymede is also tidally locked like the moon. So it has a far side of Ganymede. So this scar could only have been formed by an impact, but they didn't really know how big it would have been. So this researcher in Japan ran a computer simulation estimating that the incoming ordnance, I'm reading now, that left the ripples would have to have measured at least 185 miles across. Absolutely massive. They're comparing it to the rock that hit Earth that killed the dinosaurs,
right?
Which would have been 10 miles across, or which was, we believe, 10 miles across. So this is 18 times bigger than the rock that hit the dinosaurs, or that hit Earth and potentially killed the dinosaurs. So, and if you treat the rock to planet or asteroid to planet ratio, significantly bigger, since, the 10 miles across against the Earth is only, it says 0.11%, versus the asteroid that hit Ganymede would have been 5% of its diameter. So the sort of impact that could have made, I presume, may have made, a moon, like, the speculation that, an impact to the Earth was what caused our moon. Anyway.
A bullet hitting a melon.
Exactly. So, it says not only did it leave a scar, it knocked the world cockeyed. According to Naoki's calculations, the far side of Ganymede where the ripples are was once located in the north polar region of the moon, but the force of the blow and the added weight of the asteroid tipped the moon on its side. So you can go moon tipping.
Okay.
So So that's the main interesting bits about the article, and this is an article in Time. But the last little factoid is that the European Space Agency launched the JUICE probe, Jupiter Icy Moons Explorer, in 2023, and it will arrive at Ganymede in 2034. So another 10 years. So in 10 more years, we'll have a lot more data about Ganymede, hopefully.
Huh.
My fingers will be crossed.
Cool.
But I won't hold my breath because that's 10 years. I don't have that kind of superpower.
You're not an Olympic swimmer.
Exactly.
Or those free divers who that's just insane.
Yeah. Humans are amazingly adaptable.
Yes, they are.
As a species, not as a me.
All right, John.
Sounds good. Have a safe trip.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll chat about it next week.
Talk to you later, Eric.
Bye.
Bye.